Are you dealing with restless nights and bad sleep during perimenopause? Well, you're not alone, because 40 to 60% of all women going through perimenopause will deal with some sort of sleep issue, whether it's broken sleep or insomnia. The struggle is real. I know I suffered for over 2 years with chronic exhaustion and broken sleep. I could not sleep, and it really just sucked the life out of me. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my story, and then at the end, I'm gonna give you the 5 things that I did that I feel have made the most difference for me, because right now I sleep 8 hours every single night, and it is wonderful, and I really want that for you. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm Jen, and this is my channel, Midlife Unmasked, where we peel back the layers of some of midlife's biggest challenges. I mean, I'm sure I don't need to tell you that this stage of life is really, really tough. There are so many changes going on, and it can be really frustrating. Just when you think you figured one problem out, you seem to have another. But I'm here to tell you that we can choose to grow through this stage of life and evolve and have a life full of purpose and meaning and love and excitement for the future. So if this sounds like something that you'd like to learn more about, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and follow my channel so you never miss a video. So my story with perimenopausal insomnia started a couple of years ago. And really, sleep problems, that was the first symptom I had of perimenopause. I had a couple others. I had kind of hot flushes while I was sleeping. I didn't wake up drenched in sweat like a lot of women do, but I did wake up feeling kind of hot and just uncomfortable and sticky. I also had muscle aches, joint pain, things like that. But the sleep problems, that was absolutely the worst. And that was what compelled me to go to the doctor. So I had recently relocated and I had found a new doctor. So the first visit I had with her, I started telling her about these problems, these issues, and the sleep in particular. And she looked at me real quick and she said, well, you know, it definitely sounds like perimenopause, so I'm gonna give you an estrogen patch, and that should fix you right up in 4 to 6 weeks. So why don't you just go home? She said, you know, just try to get the temperature down a little bit in your room, and, you know, make sure you're not putting on too many blankets. That could be what's making you hot, but 4 to 6 weeks, you should be feeling better. So I go home and, you know, I actually really dove into the whole sleep routine. So I made a lot of changes right off the bat while I was waiting for the estrogen to kick in. For one thing, my husband started sleeping in a different room, which I hated, but you know, there was so much pressure on me to sleep. And I felt like every time I would flip around in the bed all frustrated and sometimes crying because I was exhausted, I was waking him up, and that was just adding more anxiety to the whole sleep issue. So he kindly offered to go sleep in another room. And then other things like keeping the lights dim, keeping the temperature low, making sure I wasn't wearing too many clothes as I went to bed. But sleep hygiene was important. And also, one thing was going to bed at the same time every night. That actually did make a difference, especially when it came to falling asleep. But what it didn't help with, and the estrogen did not help with, was staying asleep. So even though I fell asleep, I was waking up 3 hours later, staring at the ceiling, racing thoughts, thinking about ridiculous things that weren't even real, but finding things to be anxious about. So that went on for weeks, and I mean, actually probably closer to months. So I decided to go back to the doctor. I made an appointment, I went back, and she could not have been less sympathetic. She basically said to me, well, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I've given you estrogen, you're on a healthy dose, so maybe it's time to go see your general practitioner, because I don't know what to tell you. I was so livid. I was so upset by her lack of concern that I left that office and I never went back. I was completely done with her. But I did make an appointment to see my general practitioner. And he was the opposite. I mean, he could not have been kinder and more sympathetic to what was going on with me. He listened to everything I had to say, and then he said to me, well, of course it has to do with perimenopause. He said, most women have some kind of sleep issue during perimenopause. So he gave me a referral to another doctor that a lot of his patients really like. And he said, so you do need to go and see her and work with her on your hormones, because that's not my expertise. He said, but I can help you with the sleep. He said, because it sounds like you're having a circadian rhythm issue, and I can absolutely help you with that. So he gave me a prescription. He talked to me about the different ones, and he said this was the one he would choose for me because it's less habit forming and it's proven to be safe for a relatively, extended period of time of use. And he said, I want you to take this every night along with the other things that you're doing, and then whatever hormones your doctor puts you on. He said, because this isn't going to guarantee a full night's sleep, but it is going to guarantee that you'll probably get 4 to 5 hours of deep sleep. And that's what you need right now. And it's going to make you feel a little bit better. And maybe you'll get lucky and it'll just do the trick and you'll sleep all the way through the night. So I went home and I was so excited and I was so hopeful. And I did start to take the Lunesta as what he gave me. And it worked like a charm. I fell asleep and I did fall into a deep 5-hour sleep. But as soon as that stuff was out of my system, I woke up with a start, staring at the ceiling, racing mind, super anxious, and it went on and on and on. And at that point, I kind of decided, well, I'm doing everything I can. I'm on the hormones. I had been to see the new doctor. She gave me progesterone, some other things. And I'm like, this is it. This might just have to be my new normal. Maybe I'm just never going to sleep again. And then I had my intuition, a little voice in my head that was like, no, this is not your new normal. This is not going to be your new normal, because I'm kind of thinking to myself, what the hell is the point of all of the other things that I'm doing? I'm eating well, I'm taking care of myself, and I'm taking all these supplements, and I'm trying my best to age as gracefully as I can. But guess what? If I'm not sleeping, I'm going to look like the crypt keeper in another year. So I just refuse to accept that as my new normal. So months later, I go back to my doctor, my general doctor, and I said, I really don't know what to do next, because I'm on every type of hormone replacement that you could be on. And that's helped me in a lot of other different ways. And I feel amazing and love it all. But I still wake up anxious and I don't know what to do. I can't get back to sleep. And he looked at me and he said, do you think it could be anxiety? And I said, well, I don't know. I said, I'm not really an anxious person, although I am an American, and living in America has, of course, its own set of challenges. So I said, well, I don't know. Maybe I do have a little bit of anxiety that I'm not aware of. Did a little more research and found that a lot of women going through perimenopause do experience anxiety because of all of the neurology and all the things that are changing in our brains because of not having a consistent supply of estrogen. So he said, how about we try a low dose antidepressant anxiety medication? And I wasn't sure about it. I was kind of hesitant about it. I didn't know if it was gonna dull me out. I had no idea. I thought, well, are the side effects gonna be worse than the sleep? And then I finally said, no, remember, you're not accepting this as your new normal. So I decided to try it. And he told me that within a few days, I would know. It takes, 4 to 6 months for it to really fully get into your system and do its thing. But he said it really should take the edge off of the anxiety in a couple of days. And that will give you kind of a feeling that was what was going on. And it might actually help you sleep better relatively quickly. Well, within a week, I slept through the night, a whole 8 hours. And do you know, my sleep has gotten better and better since then. I have been sleeping consistently 8 solid, restful hours of sleep. So I do feel that all the hormones, the hormone therapy I've been taking, and of course, all of the structured things I've been doing for my sleep routine at night have absolutely helped me. And I'm not sure I would be getting all of that sleep if not for those things as well. But the antidepressant anxiety med absolutely put me over the edge. And I have been sleeping better probably than I have in 25 years. And I'm so, so excited about that. So now I'm going to bullet point them for you, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to list them for you. And I really, truly hope that this helps you too. Okay, so the number one most important thing I did that helped me figure out how to get back to sleep is that I did not accept it as my new normal. I can't tell you how many other women I speak to who are having similar problems, but yet they just don't seem to have any motivation to fix or change anything. You have to commit to sleep. You have to understand how important it is for your overall health, your mental health, your physical health, and aging gracefully, that you get a good night's sleep. So you need to be willing to listen, to learn, to research on your own, and ask for help. See your doctor, but do not accept broken sleep and insomnia as your new normal. There are solutions out there. You have to be willing to find them. Number 2, consider hormone replacement therapy. For a lot of women, the ones that I've spoken to who have dealt with sleep issues and have looked at this issue head on to see what they can do to help themselves, a lot of them found that HRT did the trick for them. They didn't need anything else. Just an estrogen patch with the progesterone was enough to help them get back to sleep. So that might be enough for you, but consider it. Talk to your doctor. If your doctor is not well versed in hormone replacement therapy, is dismissive in any way, find a new doctor, because there is so much research of the advantages long-term for going on hormone replacement therapy, not just for sleep, but for everything from heart disease to breast cancer to dementia. The research is there. So do yourself a favor and be open to it. Just be open to it. Another really important aspect of good sleep that you can depend on every single night is having a sleep routine, your sleep routine. And it takes a little while to find what works for you, but try to have your sleep time the same as much as you can. And that may mean that you have to say no to going out or doing whatever. You have to commit to going to bed around the same time every single night. And then other things that I mentioned, like controlling the temperature in the room, making sure you're not wearing heavy clothing, white noise, box fans, that helped me a lot, having a little bit of white noise in the background so I didn't wake up every time the air conditioning came on. Perhaps even asking your partner to sleep in a different bedroom just while you're trying to sort out your problems. But try to get your bedtime routine to be the same thing every single night. It really does make a difference. You can find all kinds of tips on what makes a good sleep routine. You just have to find what works for you. Next, if these things aren't working for you and you're still struggling, maybe it's time to consider some other pharmacology. There is so much out there that can help you that is proven to be safe. Like for me, something like a mild sleep aid that does help you drift off and stay asleep a little bit longer. Talk to your doctor. Don't be afraid. That's what they're there for. But you have to be the one to put your health and your sleep first and make the call. Finally, most importantly, as with any struggle that you have in life, you must keep seeking. You must keep learning. You must make the decision that you will not accept this as normal, and you will look for answers, because I promise you, they're there. I hope you found this video helpful. Not having enough sleep is really, really horrible. I mean, when I was going through my couple of years of insomnia and chronic exhaustion, it felt like I wasn't even an active member of the world anymore. I felt like I was living with a cloud over my head all of the time. So I hope that some, maybe all or a few of these tips really make a difference for you. If you like the content that you saw today, I hope that you take the time to subscribe. I have a lot of really cool things coming up. And next video, I'm going to talk about how comparing yourself to others and even comparing yourself to your younger self is going to steal the joy out of your life. It's going to keep you stuck and keep you from growing into the person that you were meant to be. I hope to see you soon.